Hey, this is a look at the 2016 Mazda CX-5. This vehicle gets an update for 2016. You can spot it right away. It's got a slightly larger and different looking grille than the previous model and a new front bumper as well. This is the top GT trim. You can spot it because it has the larger 19-inch wheels. Also, the GT gets LED headlamps and LED tail lights that you might not be able to distinguish, but that's a definite plus of getting this top GT model. I've had a long history with this Mazda CX-5. I drove it for the first time in 2013 at the launch at Laguna Seca in California. Getting to drive a small crossover vehicle through that famous corkscrew was a lot of fun. And the next year, when they upgraded the CX-5 to a new, larger 2.5-liter engine, I took part in the very first Mazda rally from Colorado all the way through Utah and won that rally, getting $10,000 for kids sport, and spent hour after hour after hour driving the CX-5. So I'm very intimate with it, and I've also had a chance to review it other times. So this is my fourth time really spending time with this product, so I know it really quite well. Having spent dozens of hours behind the wheel and really throwing this through the mountains, it does back up its claim. It is a very sporty crossover vehicle, but also functional. On size, it isn't the biggest in its class. There are bigger in the compact crossover segment, like the CR-V from Honda and the Rogue from Nissan, but this has a nice compact size that makes it easy to live with in an urban environment, but still has plenty of room for a family of four and their stuff in the back. Inside, there are some updates, and then we'll take it out on the road and talk about which one maybe is the best fit for you. Let's talk about what's been added for 2016. This is the top GT model. It gets navigation as standard equipment. If you get the middle GS and GT, there are two USB plugs that have now been included into the center console, and there's a height adjustable passenger seat, which is something that's often overlooked and is very, very helpful if you can raise that seat up, because, you know, not every passenger is tall. Now, if you even get the base model but add the convenience package, you get the 7-inch screen and you get what's called their HMI Commander. This is the wheel that's in the center here that you roll around, much like Audi's MMI system, what have you. And it actually is fairly easy to use, keeps your eyes on the road, and you basically get used to the buttons rather quickly. The radio is something I complained about with the Mazda 3, and I paid particular attention to this CX-5 to see if it had the same problem. I drove two Mazda 3s back to back, and both of them had intermittent FM issues with the volume going up and down and the high-end frequencies fading in and out, and it is not the case with this CX-5. So whatever the issue was with both of those cars, it is not included in this vehicle. What you do get on all CX-5s is soft touch materials on the dash, a very logical and well laid out dashboard. Add in that controller feature and it really makes it modern and up to date. Now, one of the things with the competition is often they have very simple, hard plastic dashboards, and Mazda has invested in a higher end interior, and it certainly shows, and it could be the class leader as of now. The seats are comfortable. The back seat isn't the biggest in this class. It is not the biggest vehicle in the compact crossover segment, but definitely there's enough room for a family of 4 or 5 in a pinch and plenty of cargo area. There is not an automatic power tailgate offered in this vehicle, which is something that definitely could be added. Now, this top GT trim gets the Bose stereo system, which really does work well. It also gets keyless entry and the automatic climate control. Overall, beautifully finished in here. Considering the price starts at around $25,000, Mazda definitely has got it right on the money when it comes to the way it's put together. Now, the base model still offers the 2-liter direct injection Skyactiv engine that came with this vehicle originally. It is available with front and all-wheel drive, and it's still available with a manual transmission. You're probably wondering, why would they offer that? Well, Mazda has a huge market share in the province of Quebec, and manual transmissions are still very popular there. So they keep that manual transmission front-wheel drive base model there for people that really want it. If you want to go all-wheel drive on the base model, you have to get the automatic. Now, that 2-liter direct injection Skyactiv engine is very good. It has 155 horsepower and 150 foot-pounds of torque, and the automatic is a 6-speed Skyactiv unit. When you get into the middle and upper GT trim that I have here, it's a 2.5-liter version of the same engine, but the horsepower goes up considerably. It goes to 184 horsepower and 185 foot-pounds of torque, and only available with an automatic transmission. Now, that middle and upper trim also have one little trick that's been added now, and that's a sport button here in the center console. I'm a bit mixed about this because when you hit the sport button, it does two things. It makes the downshifts quicker, which I do appreciate, but it also holds the gears longer. And driving in the city between 50 and 70 kilometers an hour, which is where you do most of your driving, the revs go way up, almost to 4,000 RPM. It's counterintuitive to all the technology that's embedded in the engine. It's using more fuel. You take it out of sport and the engine drops down in RPM. What I really wish the sport mode did was just made the throttle effort that much lighter in order to get it to change a gear quickly. So the sport button is good and bad. Same thing on the highway. It holds the gears far too high to be anywhere near efficient. As I mentioned, I've driven this vehicle many times over many hours, and it definitely is the class leader when it comes to handling. So if that's a priority for you, this vehicle should be on your radar. But on the other hand, if you're somebody that wants a smooth and relaxed ride, the suspension and the way it drives is also quite compliant. Yes, you can throw it in the corners and it delivers, but it also has a compliant and fairly smooth ride. There are complaints about the noise level inside the CX-5, but it's something that you have to try for yourself to see if it's loud, because what's loud to one person isn't loud to another. Let's talk about pricing, what one might be right for you. Now that base model, I particularly wouldn't choose because I like the larger 2.5 liter engine. But if it's price sensitive for you, it starts just under $25,000 and tops out at $28,895. You can get the convenience package that adds the 17-inch alloy wheels, Bluetooth connectivity, the 7-inch screen, and that HMI commander plus steering wheel controls. So that convenience package definitely be one to consider. The middle trim level is probably going to be the one that most people buy. And that one starts at $29,000 and goes all the way up to $32,845. Now this GT is definitely a nice package because of the bigger wheels, the LED headlamps, and the LED tail lamps. Plus you get navigation thrown in as standard equipment, but it definitely costs more. The GT starts at just under $35,000 and goes up to just under $37,000. There is an available tech package which adds some added safety features, lane departure, forward collisions, things like that. I particularly don't like. This vehicle has it, but if I was buying, I wouldn't take all that additional technology. So the Mazda CX-5 ticks a lot of boxes. It might actually be my favorite in the small SUV space. What it has is a premium interior compared to some of the other competition. It's got conventional 6-speed automatic transmission. It's got a powerful and efficient 4-cylinder engine, and it's definitely well put together. I have to see what happens when maybe Toyota updates that new RAV4, but right now this one is definitely in the running for top spot.